have a nice cool air conditioning in here too. So I apologize. It's been a little troublesome for us as we figure out how to keep all of the members cool, but also how do we still conduct our services, and how do we also stream to the folks who can't join us as well. So it's been we've had a little hurdles, but at least we're up and running now, I believe. So hello everybody on YouTube as well. But thank you so much again for joining us for this Shotsuki monthly memorial service for the month of July. And for us, it's an opportunity for us to come together, no matter how small or how large our Sangha is, to be able to remember our friends and loved ones who have passed away in this particular month. And again, this is an opportunity to really reflect upon the teachings in our lives as we think about our loved ones, the impact of their lives and our lives. And especially in July, it's very fitting for us to be able to do this as we also celebrate and observe Obon, which I'll be talking about a little bit later in my Dharma message. So today, what I wanted to do was to open with a meditation. Because we don't have the piano or the organ to be played today, but let me open with the opening meditation. Will you please join me in Gasho? Buddha's compassion embraces all people and his never lessening desire for their happiness. He loves people as parents love their children, and he wishes for them the highest blessedness, namely that they might be able to pass beyond this ocean of life and death. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Doubts. Namo Doubts. Namo. Okay, so at this time, we'll continue the service with the chanting of Sambujo. And Sambujo can be found in your service book on the inside front cover. This will be followed by the Hyo Byakumon and the reading of the Shotsuki names for the month of July.
나온다.
We have gathered today for Shotsuki Monthly Memorial Service. This is our monthly service to remember friends and loved ones who have passed away in the they are Hinue Abe, Mitsuko Adachi, Stephen Kazuo Adachi, Hiroshi Asai, Patricia Dixon, Fred Dobana, Aiko Fuji, Mike Fuji, Ryo Fuji, Yoshio Ben Fuji, John Takashi Fujiki, Yoshiko Jun Fujimoto, George S. Fukuhara, Mitsuno Harada, David Ron Hayashi, Den Ikeda, Shizuko Ishihara, Betty Yoshiko Ito, Nobuhiro Kajioka, Kameko Kamigaki, Sakae Kawanishi, Jack Norimasa Kimoko, Cindy Tamiko Kitagawa, George Hiroshi Kitagawa, Nazuko Kitagawa, Tome Koga, Wakako Matsuura Kono, Lucille Midori Kumimoto, Tashichi Makino, Kenneth Kenichi Masai, Bill N. Matsumoto, Ayako Matsune, Masatoshi Mitsuhashi, James Akira Miyamoto, Douglas Tomisaburo Mizuno, Tad Mizuno, Ayako Morita, Masajiro Murata, Shigeru Nakaoka, Taka Nakashima, Gerald Matsuo Natsuhara, Susumu Nishikawa, Tama Nojiri, Roy Akira Ota, Chieko Okazaki, Evelyn Norini Okubo, George Okubo, Yoshie Sagara, Kenneth T. Kotake, Okumatsu Shiba, Haruko Shibata, John Kazuto Shimobayashi, Sakae Sugi, Sumi Sugi, Marshall Sumida, Jane Tayeko Tahara, Seisaku Tanaka, Chitose Taniguchi, Masaichi Tateyama, Toku Togo, James C. Tominaga, Sam Torigoe, Grace Tsunekawa, Sueko Watanabe, Sei Yagi, Pete Kazuo Yamada, Takeshi Yamada, Aiko Yamanaka, Ken Yasui, Roy Yonoshige, Shizuko Yoshida, and Henry Yamashita. We realize in the cherished memories of those we love and have lost, the impermanence of all the world is revealed. May the fragrance of the incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the beauty of the flowers offered remind us of life's impermanence. May the lights that burn brightly on the altar lead our thoughts to Amida Buddha's light of wisdom and compassion. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namandas. 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 At this time, we will chant Sambutsuge with each other. Please join me on starting on page 81, I believe maybe on 82. And then, of course, everybody is welcome to offer incense during Let's sing on fun number two, and we're using our handy dandy CD player. Um, and this will be followed by the three treasures, which can be found on page two. So please rise if you're comfortable and able. If not, go ahead and remain in your seats. No hope is there that we shall be free from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Please be seated. Okay, so thank you again for attending this month's Shotsuki Monthly Memorial Service for the month of July. And we're gathered here, as I mentioned, today to remember our friends and loved ones who had passed away during this particular month. And this month always reminds me of the holiday of Obon, since I don't normally get to share a message during Obon. I thought I'd share just a few thoughts and feelings with you today, because we usually have a guest speaker, so I don't usually speak about Obon unless I go to another temple. So it's nice to be able to share some of my thoughts with you today. Again, I wanted to, of course, tie this into the month of Shotsuki, which I think it appears nicely. So for just a little refresher, as we know, Obon is usually celebrated in July and August, and I know that some folks even start maybe even their bazaars like in May, but usually it's July and August. And I know that this is a very busy time for many temples. And so in Japan, it's one of the biggest observations annually. And there's like either 4 or 5 day festivals. And it's usually synonymous with lanterns. And I've kind of recreated that feeling for our Hatsubon families, which you'll see in a couple of weeks. So on the Tricycle website, it kind of has this nice overview of Obon, which we know. And of course, it's a time for families to come together. People come home to clean their homes, prepare food, expect special guests. They'll maybe light small fires or lanterns, and they serve as guides to welcome our loved ones and ancestors on their way home. And it's very customary for us to go to the gravesites to visit our loved ones too and make offerings and clean them, which reminds me that it's been probably too long since I visited my mom and my grandparents too at Cherokee. And so, as you know, this is a Buddhist tradition, and it comes from the Shambhala Sutra, and it's celebrated amongst the Mahayana world. And really, what it means is to hang upside down. And so this is the story of Moggallana, so the disciple of the Buddha. And as we remember, his mother, he had powers to be able to see his mother who had passed away. And he was very tormented by the fact that he realized that she was hanging upside down. And she was in the realm of hungry ghosts. And this was due to the way in which her karma and the way in which she might have been maybe stingy or greedy and was affected by greed and anger and ignorance during her lifetime. And so luckily, he was able to see the Buddha. The Buddha said, okay, well, do these things and your mother will be freed from her torment of being hung upside down. And when that happened, of course, he was dancing for joy. And so that's kind of the tradition or the origin of us coming together to dance for Obonodori. And so how many of you have danced Obonodori since you were very little? I know I have, so many of us. And so maybe for May, this might be a new tradition for you for this coming year. And so hopefully, for the start of, May's, being at our temple and being able to observe and participate in the whole, this will be a new tradition that you continue on as well. And so, for me, it's been, I think, very synonymous with my family and being at this temple. And I wanted to share with you, something that I made in Japan, and I'm gonna tie this all together. So I had an opportunity to go to Japan, I believe it was last May, and this was for, Shinran Shonin's, celebration for the 850th birthday, and of course, the 800th anniversary of, the start of Jodo Buddhism. And so, of course, I saw this online, and I wanted to do this as an experience while I was in Japan. So it's called My Only Fragrance, and I was able to go to this little shop, close, to, where was this? Kiyomizudera? So of course, it's a very kind of touristy spot, but I was able to create my own fragrance. And so this is the one and only of its kind, and I was able to name it. So I was thinking, what should I name my fragrance? And I really like, floral, like tuberose or jasmine. So it has a very jasmine kind of smell. And I was thinking about memories and how memories are kept, especially for me in my mind. And so I named it Natsukashi. Natsukashi. So, nostalgia is, maybe that's the English translation, nostalgia. And so for me, this was a way in which that I could, of course, remember my time in Japan, with my friends, and of course the celebration. But, I think scent and smell is the most powerful way to connect our memories. So do you have a particular scent or smell, fragrance that you are connected to, that connection to your loved ones as well? Maybe you're laughing. Do you have a
Gohan rice.
rice?
When it's boiling about,
Oh,
because it means people are coming over.
oh, so rice and the smell of rice. So it means that people are coming over, and so it brings back a lot of memories for you of people coming and joining your home. Anybody else? Any other natsukashi, any nostalgic smells or fragrances? So many, there's so many of them. And for me, I think some foods like really remind me of my mom and her cooking as well. But, for this particular month, maybe I'll share, about my grandmother, as this is also her Shotsuki, hoyo as well for, Haruko Shibata. And, the one smell that reminds me of her are mothballs. And so this is mostly because of the month of July and going to her home, and being dressed by her. Every year when we were little, when she, was able to, tie everything for us. But whenever she would open up those suitcases, of course, the wafting smell of mothballs to protect our kimono really was, nostalgic or really pungent too. And so, I think this was a way in which, she showed that she really cared for us, and she wanted us to enjoy because of, the very meticulous way in which she would, dress us and tie our obi. And I think I've shared this before, but you knew your obi was tied well, when you couldn't breathe. And so she was very strong for a very little lady. And so even that smell of mothballs and being able to dress during Obon really reminds me of her and connects me with her. And of course, my grandpa too, because he would always be, taking pictures. And this was before, well before, digital cameras came to play. And so my grandpa, he would have, his camera, and of course he would have the lens. And I remember he would take a long time to adjust his lens. So we would have to for a long time. But again, a very nostalgic and natsukashi kind of a moment for me. So these are all very joyous occasions. However, of course, we are celebrating Obon in memory of our loved ones who have passed away. And so I wanted to kind of also think about maybe the grief, that we have when we experienced the loss of a loved one and acknowledge that grief, that it never really goes away. It just kind of transforms over time. And even for us too, maybe when we think about our loved ones passing away, we even think about our own lives, and our lives coming to an end and what that means and how does that make us feel. And I know that I've shared, again, the Tanisho, and this really is one of my favorite writings of the Tanisho, because it's a very huge contrast between the spirit of Wobon and even the feelings that were shared between Shinran and his disciple Yuenbo. So again, I've shared this before. I wanted to share it with you again. Although I say the Nembutsu, the feeling of dancing with joy is faint within me, and I have no thought of wanting to go to the Pure Land quickly. How should it be for a person of the Nembutsu? When I asked the master, meaning Master Shinran, on this, he answered, I too have had this question, and the same thought occurs in you too, Yuenbo. So again, this is a dialogue and a conversation written down by Yuenbo, his disciple, because of maybe some arguments or quarrels going on between the disciples of Shinran. So even Shinran said, like, yeah, I too, I don't want to be dancing for joy. And I don't want to go to the Pure Land quickly. And so again, this is a major contrast between this feeling and this gathering of joy for Obon. And so again, Shinran reassures him that he has the same doubts that his birth, because he has the same doubts, that his birth in the Pure Land is even more assured because he can't rejoice while living. So this really allows us to remind us of our humanness, that we have attachments to this life and things within our lives, maybe very materialistic things, not wanting to sever our connection with our loved ones, that we have our own blind passions of greed and anger and ignorance to really prevent this joyfulness. However, again, the Buddha realizes that we're all humans with all of these different characteristics and is clinging to this one and only life that we have. But however, because of Amida Buddha's great wisdom and compassion and his vow to really alleviate all of our suffering when we pass away, he's reassuring that this vow and this wisdom and compassion is meant specifically for us. So again, I think this is a very nice way for us to be able to kind of reconcile those feelings of maybe dancing for joy for our loved ones, welcoming them in our lives, in our everyday lives, but also understanding too that we're clinging to this one and only life that we have, and maybe we're not dancing for joy as we think about our own passing. And so hopefully with this, we can really remember that when we are dancing, when we are remembering our loved ones, that they too are rooting us on, they're cheering us on, they're dancing for joy as well, because we too have encountered the Buddha Dharma in such a way that allows us to recite Namo Amida Butsu, allows us to feel the embrace of Amida Buddha, and of course to be born into the Pure Land as well, so that we too can be freed of our blind passions, our greed and anger and ignorance, our attachment and suffering, and so that we too can attain our own Buddhahood, and then guide our own remaining loved ones and friends in the Dharma, so that they too can rejoice in the Pure Land as well. So I hope that this year, this Obon season, and of course the Shotsuki monthly memorial service gives you some comfort as you think about your loved ones. And a little bit later on in this month, that you too will join us in dancing for joy and welcoming them and guiding them during our Obon Obori. And maybe too, you can think about some natsukashi, nostalgic moments that you've had with them to really warm your heart and let them be the essence. Let them continue to have this essence in your life, penetrate your life as they did when they were living as well. So with that, will you please join me in Gassho? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, so let's sing one last gotha together. How about Namu Amida Butsu? Let's see, what page was that? On page 188. Please stand if you're able. If not, please remain seated to be more comfortable. Please join me in Gasho. May we all truly reflect with gratitude and humility on that which we have been allowed to receive through the teachings of the Buddha. May we always endeavor to listen intently to our fellow beings, to the summoning voice of Amida Buddha, and together as one, be born in Amida's pure land. With a radiant and boundless mind, may we each regard all living beings with loving kindness without limit. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated. Okay, so this will conclude today's service. I think we have a bunch of announcements coming up. Do you want me to read it? Do you want to read it? Oh, okay. My lovely assistant, thank you. Okay, announcements. The Buddhist Church of Stockton's Obon Bazaar is Saturday, August 3rd. We still need volunteers and donations. Please see the karma for more details. The Obon Hatsubon service will be, is it 28th? July 28th at 10 a.m. And actually, since we're still working on the air conditioning unit, we'll be in here in the mini chapel. Dharma School will resume on September 8th. Donations of bingo, silent auction, and bazaar raffle prizes are still being requested and are truly appreciated. Please drop off during regular office hours. And of course, Sangha Club is continuing the collection of aluminum cans and recyclable plastic bottles, and donations can be left by the white bin under the carport area, and continue to help recyclable bottles and cans keep them out of our landfill bills while supporting our youth organization. And book club will be taking a break for July and August, and will resume in September. Any other announcements or anything else? No. Okay. Okay, so thank you again. I do want to extend my appreciation to everybody who helped put the service on today, especially with the move and these different transitions. So thank you to our greeters. I think Bev and Ruby were our greeters, and of course my AV team, Charlie and Alex and Darlene. And thank you, Meme and Kate, for your assistance, and of course my dad. Thanks, Dad, for all your help, for the numerous things that you do. But thank you, everybody, for your kind attendance today, and of course, your patience as we were working through some of our technical difficulties as well. So yeah, that'll conclude. So thank you so much for joining us, and please travel safely home, and please stay hydrated and cool during these hot summer temperatures. Okay, thank you. Namandats, 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 namandats. Thanks, everybody. You might feel a little bit cold. This is nice, though. I'll take this over being hot. So thanks, everybody who was online. We appreciate it. I could turn